Alright, after booting the board, if you have a valid config, you'll see just one light flashing there, just a single light. If you don't have a valid config, it'll be multiple lights flashing, or if you're missing your SD card, I think it'll be 3. So that seems to be a valid non-airbound config. I have Smoopi Host here running, and it basically, has all the controls and everything in the compass rose here, or the central to move. You can jog on the edges. You can go a predefined amount of distance, to do your tests and stuff. Now, if you want to modify things, here's your DRO. You can set up your workspace coordinates. Has a console entering area here specifically for that. Macros you can set up. Has an MPG mode, so you turn this on and you can actually move it like an MPG would. Then in here in your tools, you have start UART log. Now I'm going to start a UART log. Now that's there. It's doing nothing at the moment, but when you hit reset here on the board, it will give all the information. Let me know if any configs are wrong, what things are set, if there's cautions, warnings, blah, blah, blah. All of it, everything that related to the config is in there, which is why we'd like for you to, when you're doing your initial config, at least have that connected. All right, so now the UART log's on. I'm connected here. I can jog. I can move around and actually do some measurements and see if I'm moving the right amount of distance. I don't feel like I am on the Y. Maybe I might be a little fast on the X even. But this, and then you got your Z axis here, which goes a little less, but it's your basic controls. Now, to do things like if I wanted to turn on the spindle, for instance, which isn't wired up, at the second M3, and notice it turned the light on, which will turn the spindle on. It didn't turn on the SSR, but that's probably because there's no power going to the SSR, I'm assuming. So, yeah. So basically that's how you would do that, and you do an M5 to shut that off. If I wanted to turn on the air blast, it's M7, click, and then an M8 to turn it off, I think, or M9. Anyways, M9, yeah, there it goes. That's okay. So if I type M7 again, you'll hear that guy click, and you notice the LED turns on the FET there. The pink, bright pink LED right there. So yeah, that turns that on. So that's when that's triggered. So that'll be the air blast. I have the solid state relay here to drive the spindle, and then I'm going to add another one to drive the dust extractor. And aside from that, it does move. I need to play around with some config settings. Nice thing about Smoopi here is it has a bunch of little added tools. So one of them being the trinemic configurator. So now, if you wanted to play around with your all your settings for the stepper drivers to tune for your motors, which a lot of people are probably going to have to do, this is where you're going to, an easy way to do it. You can actually drag them in real time and check and see everything else and how they work. It's going to need to probably have an entire write-up just on that, but it's really nice that Jim built that in. After some discussing with him, he threw it in there real quick, actually. And then, so in here there's set date time. That's due to the real-time clock that's built in. If you add the battery, you can run that. Has a calculator. SD print, fast stream. Fast stream is if you want to run with no air checking. So you're just sending, no ping pong. Upload G-code, sends it to the board. Text editor, you can edit your G-code in there. Config editor, the text editor, or you could also edit your macros if you want. Your macro files are stored in a file on the Raspberry Pi. And then all this, restart, update, stuff like that. There's also a viewer. I don't use the viewer much, so I don't know a lot about it. I'm going to have to get to that, but for the most part, it's real nice having the ability to just jog though and grab the thing. And also this thing will, with the Smoopi setup, you can actually plug in a USB pendant like an HBO8, and you can actually have a wireless pendant connected to this as well with all the macros and everything loaded onto the controller. So it's real nice it actually makes it like a real mill. So you have this bolted to the machine. Smoothie board encased inside of with the electronics case, and then you would have your HBO8 type spindle, pendant in your, wherever you wanted it to be, and you could start and stop, do all your stuff. So this is a real nice little setup. It makes it really convenient to have the UART monitoring, the USB, everything here. It's real clean. Jim spent a lot of time on this, so I personally recommend using Smoopi on all of it. I use it on my 3D printers, and I'm using it on the mill. I'm going to use it on my laser, probably. So we'll see, as more goes along. He's adding lathe functions and other things, experimental stuff to the firmware, so who knows what will evolve. But this is real nice because you can also run scripts on it. Like you can run he made the arc welder script run in here and things like that. So if you wanted to run it, you could install it on the Raspberry Pi, and you could load in a G-code and run that arc welder or arc smoothing or whatever type of setup that a lot of people use. It's available right inside this. So more to come.